Well, welcome everyone. We're glad that you were able to come out. I was just saying, you know, there's so few celebrations in this day and age that we worked really hard, so we're like, we are definitely going to celebrate this thing. So appreciate you being part of that. I'm Darren Sloniger. I'm with the Marquette companies, and just to give you a quick orientation, the site that you're standing on right now is 1400 West Randolph. It goes all the way to Randolph Street. This will become a 26-story high-rise containing 278 units. And then as Randolph moves across Ogden, there's a 5-story early 1900s vintage loft-style office building. We're going to keep that because we think we love the character that it retains in the neighborhood. And then from there, there's a bunch of warehouses and barbed wire. We're going to knock all that down, and we're going to do an 11-story building that looks out over Union Park that'll have another 243 units. I'm really proud of what we have created around the corner at the Mason, which is the building behind us. And now to be able to expand that vision and create a development that really stretches from here all the way to the Ashland Street station is an opportunity that developers don't get very often. And it's an opportunity that we have to create a neighborhood and that I think that people will have a sense of community, a sense of safety, and a sense of belonging as a result of this development. I have to tell you that, I'll let that go. I'm very happy about my decision to put insulated glass on this side of the building, by the way. When COVID hit, the prospect for these projects looked really bleak. And we had spent more than 18 months assembling all of the land that goes all the way down, moving through the city's zoning process, which is not an easy process, but it's a process that really works. And finally, we had everything teed up and ready to move forward in March 13th, right when the financial market collapsed and lenders and investors started shutting down. And I have to admit that I committed the cardinal sin of real estate investment, and I got a little emotionally attached to these projects, and it was like a gut punch thinking about the prospects that these projects that we worked so hard to get to this point may never come to fruition. And I have to tell you that it was groups like Zeller and Power Construction who stepped up early. These are longtime Chicago companies who have done great things for the city of Chicago. And because they came in early and made financial commitments as our partners, it made a huge difference. And it allowed for the inertia to be able to begin to move forward to get these done. It was banks like Stifel and JP Morgan and Bank of the Ozarks who committed to giving us construction financing when other lenders were afraid to fund during these times. And finally, State Street Global Advisors, who aren't from here, but they believed in this location and what we were trying to do, who committed significant dollars as our partner on 1400. So I'm just telling you, I am grateful for all these groups who, in the darkest moments of COVID, stepped into the unknown and did something unthinkable in taking risks that allowed all of this to become possible, because I can tell you that there's no way that Marquette could have ever done it alone. We needed all of these groups to stand with us, and I'm very grateful for all of them. It's in moments like this pandemic, when I think that we're all tested. And I think that we have to rely on an inner fortitude to kick in and to give us the courage to take some risks, to roll up our sleeves, and to start making things work when the world isn't working. And I think that it's what we do in these times, how we respond, that makes us who we are. And it makes us better, and it makes us stronger, and it gives us a stronger sense of community. There was another moment when the project looked very questionable, And that was in a community meeting because we as developers need to present our plans to the community. And usually in these meetings, believe it or not, developers are actually villainized. And we, sometimes get pot shots from the residents, and sometimes those meetings can be not a lot of fun for developers. But in this particular case, I have to tell you that it was going swimmingly. I felt like the community was not only not oppositional, I felt like there was a little bit of actual support there. And so I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is incredible. So I'm just going to wrap this meeting up before anything else can happen. Well, before I can get the words, "have a good night," out of my mouth, Alderman Burnett stands up and he says, "Darren, I'm not feeling it." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not feeling it? How can you not feel this?" And I showed him the picture of the project again. I'm like, "This is a great freaking project, Alderman. How can you not feel this?" He's like, "I'm not only not feeling it, I ain't voting for it." I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me after all this work." Well, I have to say that there are two things that I love about Alderman Burnett. One is that he always makes himself available to meet and to discuss and to work through the issues, the tough issues, even if there's a difference of opinion, to make sure that you are heard and to really genuinely try to work through so the project can go forward. The second thing I love about the alderman is that he genuinely cares about one thing: affordable housing. He is passionate and he is committed to the creation of affordable housing in the city of Chicago. The rub with developers is, of course, well, how the heck are we going to pay for this? And I am very proud of the partnership that we created with the city of Chicago, in that the alderman was willing to sit down and work through a lot of hours of discussions and different points of view and differences of opinion to accomplish what we were able to accomplish. And so as a result of that work, Marquette has been able to commit to create more than 100 affordable units as part of this project. And we're very, very proud of that. So, I just want to give my heartfelt thanks to the alderman, oh, there you are, and ask you to help me in welcoming Alderman Burnett to the podium.
Thank you very much, Darren. Some of you all know Darren, may know. Darren's a pastor also. It's easier for me to push God on him when I'm trying to get something done, right? God was in a lot of our conversation. But it gives me a pleasure to be here for this project. One thing I can say about the people in the city of Chicago and this community, even though we're going through some trying times right now, people in Chicago is resilient. We don't give up. We've been through the Chicago fire, we've been through floods, we've been through a whole bunch of things, but Chicago keep rising above the ashes, And after this COVID-19 thing is over, we're gonna be even bigger and better than everybody else because we keep pushing and we keep fighting in Chicago, and development don't stop. Darren don't tell you, but one of the conversations about I wasn't feeling it was because of the park over there. That was the one of the main challenges with the park, because there's a lot of concerts going at the park and a whole bunch of other things, and I'm like, man, I don't want these people complaining. And I had to deal with all those issues when you put houses there and people complain. So you got to go talk to the park advisory board in the park district. And he ended up going and talking to the park advisory board and to the park district, and they both gave him gave him their blessings. I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge the community organizations over in this particular area. I deal with 3 community organizations, almost 4, We deal with the West Loop Gate. We deal with the West Central Association and also the neighbors of the West Loop, but he's also on the border of the Industrial Council of Near West Chicago. So he had to literally go meet with all those people and get their approvals also, and he did that. Also, I want to say, as far as the affordable housing part goes, the affordable housing part was easy with Darren. You know, Darren actually he cut his teeth working for a non-for-profit organization that only built affordable housing, so he cares about affordable housing also. And of course, by me knowing that, I pushed that on him too. Man, you used to do this, man. What you talking about? So the affordable housing component was not a challenge. And also Darren, he also built the Madison right behind here, where we have all affordable housing inside that building, and we really appreciate developers like him. You know, this development, not only do Darren work with us with affordable housing, he gave about $180,000, I think, to the Park District. You know, he's giving money to the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. There's a lot of things that's coming out of this project, thanks to the Department of Planning and other folks that's involved. But he also hired people from the community, and work with minority developers. We have some of them here. We really appreciate it. I didn't know Power was your partner. Power is I call Power one of my prime contractors, because Power, and that's why you see him doing so much work in our ward, because Power joint ventures with African American contractors all the time, and they hire a lot of African American people, and I never have a challenge with Power. Never, ever have a challenge with Power. And the reason why I was a little late coming here, the funny thing is, I was going to the park, my cousin was playing basketball over there, I was looking for him, and the park supervisor said, "Can you come and talk to these kids?" And so, you know, I love talking to young people, so I went in and I spoke to the kids, and I was telling them about, I'm getting ready to go across the street from your park for a development where they're going to build houses across the street. And I said, and coincidentally, this development is going to help a lot of African American people. Matter of fact, it's going to help some African Americans that grew up in the neighborhood with you. And I told them about the African Americans that grew up in Henry Horner who now own construction companies that's going to be working on this. One of them put the fencing up. One of them own a fencing company. One of them is a carpenter, and I can go on and on. Young lady there does concrete. There's a lot of African Americans that's going to be working on this project. So I was telling the young kids about it, and I was telling them about, some of them had, rough lives, and, they tried to do everything fast, but it didn't last. So I gave them some rhymes. I say, if you go fast, it don't last. If you go slow, you get more, And I was telling them, if you take it slow, you get more. And I was telling them how those guys now are making $30 and $40 an hour, right? Working union jobs. And now those guys gonna get a pension. And when they retire and get old, they can sit down and don't do anything and get a check, right? Because they put something in to get something out, and they took their time, and it paid off in the future. And I was telling them that's what you all need to do. You can go to school, but also you have another alternative to get in the construction industry. But then I also told them I'm helping another African American guy over here. He really don't need the money, right? And Darren didn't mention his name, but he actually owned this restaurant over here, and his name is Michael Jordan, right? And I went on to tell the kids that, Michael Jordan opened up a restaurant over here years ago. I was like, I'm the one who taught Michael that move where he did this and then he did that. For a minute, they were believing me. For a second, they were believing me. and then I told them that, Michael Jordan was one of them. Two people were two African Americans that believed in this community early on. I know Mike's not here, but they believed in this community early on, and they invested in this neighborhood early on when it was Skid Row. One was Oprah Winfrey with Harpo Studios, and the other one was Michael Jordan. You know, and they invested when nobody else wanted to invest in this community. Matter of fact, Mike used to have an office right up there, up top, you know, and he's so frugal. Whenever I come to the restaurant, he'd be like, man, why you don't come spend no money at my restaurant? I'm like, dude, you don't need my money, man. What you talking about, Mike? But he was such a nice guy, and those African Americans, they started over here and they invested over here when nobody else would. And it's such a blessing to see this area turn around, be so close to public housing across the street, giving opportunities to low-income people who may have an opportunity to advance themselves and take a step up from low-income housing to affordable housing to maybe in the future market rate housing. It's such a blessing to be an alderman at a time like this, to be able to help so many people, help people like Darren get rich and people like Power get richer, you know, but at the same time, help people from the community to grow also. So I love my job, I love what I do, and I love this city. And I believe in this city, and I just want every developer to know, here in the 27th Ward, we working every day. Myself, the community organizations, the community, we seeing projects every day, all the time. Things are still going on, development haven't stopped. And I'm gonna tell you, after this COVID is over with, you're gonna see so many projects happening in this community. And if you are smart, you will invest in the 27th Ward, because we have room for you, we have some projects for you that's gonna be very beneficial to you in the future, because it's not the end in this ward and in this city, it's just the beginning. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a lady who have taken on a challenge in some challenging times and haven't wavered at all. First and foremost, she's been concerned about the safety of the people in the city of Chicago. Safety and saving people's lives are very important. But at the same time, through her departments, the Department of Planning, the Deputy Mayor, they've been continuously working on projects like this to keep the city vibrant, to keep the city going, to keep our economic development happening in the city of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to the one mayor who I'm taller than, Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Well, whatever you ate today, whatever you drank, I want a little bit of that, Walter, because you were on a roll. Thank you for, but in seriousness, thank you for those inspiring words. Our young people need to hear that their future and their destiny is bigger and more possible than what their current moment is. I also want to thank Darren for your inspiring words as well. Right, the city of Chicago is about the struggle. It's about the fight, and it's about the reward at the end of that struggle. And so hearing everything that you and your partners went through to make this moment possible, I think it's going to make this development even sweeter when it comes to final fruition. Today's groundbreaking is truly a testament to our city's resilience. And I should probably thank the CTA for the trains running on time. So I'm going to conclude my remarks in the next 4 minutes before the next train comes. But in seriousness, this is a testament to our resilience in the face of the greatest public health and economic crisis we've ever faced. But make no mistake, never bet against Chicago. What has kept us grounded is our faith in our ability to rise above challenges. What has kept us safe and grounded is our ability to be resilient in the face of very challenging odds, and to use this moment as an opportunity to come out better and stronger and more united as a city than ever before. This faith is rooted in our commitment to making decisions based upon the data that is before us, the public health guidance, and not pandering to the moment, but being smart and prudent. For that reason, our city never saw a back-breaking surge in cases that would have brought our healthcare system to its knees. And as a result, we have not had to take the kind of steps backwards that other cities, other states, other parts of the country have had to because they weren't prudent in the way that they reopened their economy. As a result, Chicago remains the most open big city in the country, allowing development projects like this to come to fruition and enrich our entire city. These two projects will generate around 500 jobs during the construction phase, and once completed, they will provide over 500 units for people to call home, 103 of which will be designated as affordable units under our Affordable Requirements Ordinance. And take a moment to pause about where we sit and think about what this area looked like just 10 years ago. The reality is the Fulton Market District is one of the fastest growing, most diverse real estate markets in the country, with an entire mix of residential, commercial, and entertainment. And this area has been transformed and is steadily marching westward to the benefit of all. The positive economic benefits of this project don't just start and end in our historic Fulton Market neighborhood, as you heard, which has become a national success story. These projects will drive investment into the commercial corridors of our city's south, west, and southwest sides, thanks to Marquette's $2.6 million payment into our neighborhood opportunity fund. And you can clap for that. This investment will help entrepreneurs for underrepresented backgrounds thrive and gives residents in our historically disinfected neighborhoods access to the resources they need to feel safe and supported, putting them in a great position to take advantage of all the opportunities that a post-COVID-19 economy is sure to offer. In addition to the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund, Marquette will donate, as the alderman said, $180,000 into the nearby Union Park, directly enhancing this public space for West Loop residents and all who visit. This kind of far-reaching investment is exactly what our city needs in these times. Improving our neighborhoods, generating jobs, helping drive resources into our communities that need them most, and reminding the world that Chicago is open for business and ready to double down on our economic growth agenda and dynamic partnership such as these. We have great plans and vision for this neighborhood, and we are just getting started. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to Darren. Thank you for the banks and the financing companies that believed in this project and have made it possible and get off the ground. And I'll bring Darren back to the podium. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well, thank you, Alderman, and thank you, Mayor. I'm very proud to be part of this city. It's a great city, and there's no place else I'd rather be. I just want to thank a few people really quickly. I want to thank all of the staff at Brennan Stoll Lynch, our architectural firm, who really, again, stood by us through the thick and thin. I know that we have a couple of employees from Department of Planning who really worked on the front lines, Noah and Cindy, who did a great job. Cindy even got some of her own DNA into this project, so we appreciate her. I'm very grateful for Power Construction. They just do an amazing job. The team is just very professional and does amazing things. And then lastly, I just want to say to all the Marquette employees, it's a great company, and I'm really proud to be part of your team. So thank you to all of Marquette for what you do day in and day out. So thanks so much. We'd like to, we really want to support the local restaurants, and so I think I saw Pat walk in. So Pat is the owner of Kaiser Tiger, and so we have bought out the back patio of Kaiser Tiger, so we'd love for you after this event to stop by, open bar, appetizers, hang out, get to know you a little bit, but just support the local restaurants is really important during these times. So we're going to do a quick groundbreaking photo op, but y'all can go over to Kaiser Tiger and start drinking. So thanks for coming.